Well, hello, it's Angie from Trips with Angie, and here we are with the final update, number 5 from my 7-night Canada-New England cruise on the Majestic Princess. You can see the suitcases are out, so it's time to get ready to disembark, but let me catch you up on the last 2 days. Our last port of call was Sydney, Nova Scotia. Now, this is a small little town, and it's known for its huge violin. So as you get off the ship, you're going to see the huge violin, and then there's a beautiful long waterfront walkway if you just want to go for a walk along the harbor. Now, an important thing to know about this port is a lot of the more informational excursions are an hour and a half to 2 hours from Sydney. So you can go to the Louisburg Fortress and a lighthouse, which we have done before. That is a lovely full day excursion. Or you can head to the Alexander Graham Bell Estate. There's also whale watching and bird watching options, a nice boat cruise. But again, that's going to be an hour and a half to 2 hour drive. If you just want to explore the port, there are a few shops and restaurants. We went to Nara for sushi and had a very good experience. Daniel's Pub was also delightful. It has really friendly staff. The bar list is terrific and it has some great pub food. Governor's is known for some great seafood chowder. And then I love making a stop at Island Folk Cider House, where everyone there is so nice. Once a month on Sunday, they have a string circle, which in the past we just happened into, which was so exciting. But the ciders are great. There's also a food truck on site with all different kinds of seaweed, including lobster rolls. After a full day in port, we headed back on board. We decided to grab a quick dinner at Alfredo's. Alfredo's is one of the specialty casual restaurants on board. It is an extra charge unless you have a meal included in your Princess Plus or Princess Premier package. And we just went for a quick meal. So we grabbed a New Yorker specialty pizza, which is absolutely delicious. I love the ricotta cheese on it. It makes it just a different type of pizza, and the meats are really good. We also got the eggplant Rollup, which is angel pasta with cooked eggplant rolled around it, smothered in sauce and cheese. It needed a little bit of salt and a little bit of hot peppers, but other than that, we really enjoyed it. After that, we headed to the Vista Lounge for Friends Trivia. Now, we know nothing about Friends, but the event after it was the marriage show, and we knew that seats were going to be limited. So we got in early, got our seats for Friends Trivia, and then we were all ready for the marriage show. If you haven't seen it before, the marriage show brings up 3 couples who've been married for different lengths of time. So newlyweds, people who've been married, 10 to 25 years, and then the old timers, as they like to call them, people who've been married forever. The couple on ours had been married for 58 years, and they were a hoot. So it's a fun show. It's usually led by the cruise director. It can get a little spicy, so you may not want little ears there, but we really enjoyed the show. After that, we headed back to the Piazza, where we saw Duo Gravity. So Princess is bringing some of these short 15-minute acrobatic acts to the Piazzas in the evenings, and I love it. I think it's a great way to start off the night and a great intro to the party band. They were really, really good. There was juggling and acrobats, and as they say, death-defying stunts. So it was very, very fun. Then, of course, it was time for the party band, and on our cruise, there was more kids dancing than adults, but it was still really fun. Then it was our final day at sea as we sailed back to Boston, and we did a full day of games. So we set up in the Piazza to watch the Minute to Win It games, and they split the ship in half, and so they had people run up and answer different challenges, which was really fun. My husband ended up there singing Britney Spears' Oops, I Did It Again. So lots of fun and audience participation. We also went to Duval. The cruise directors learned magic show, and we learned 2 magic tricks, which we astounded our friends with later in the afternoon. The buffet had a special seafood extravaganza. They had all different types of shellfish. So shrimp, 2 different types of mussels, crawfish, salmon, tilapia. It was just really, truly a seafood extravaganza, but I didn't see any crab legs. So just FYI, a couple of people asked me about that, but definitely check that out on your last day. When we boarded, we actually got a piece of paper that told us for every day what the themes were going to be in the buffet for lunch and dinner, which I loved. So I thought it was a great way to kind of plan what you wanted when you wanted it. In the afternoon, we headed to the Voice of the Ocean. So this is a take on TV shows The Voice, where 3 judges evaluate 6 singers and ultimately crown a winner. If you went in on deck 7, you got a small device that looked like a calculator that allowed you to vote in the final. And it was wonderful. It was a really fun show. We really enjoyed it. It has a very high production value. We were talking to some people in the elevator, and they were impressed by that. So definitely go. It was at 3 o'clock on our sea day, and definitely go in on deck 7 and get your voting device. They give you 1 per cabin. Also, be sure to sit in the center section or the port side or left side section as you're facing the stage. The right side is blocked by the chairs, and they don't put the singers as they're singing up on the screen. So look for center seats or right seats, and definitely get there early. Seats will go fast. For dinner, we had our final specialty dining at Sabatini's. So those of you who have been following along, you know our specialty dining saga. Now, I will say we did get out in under 2 hours without ordering dessert. And the issue is the ordering. The waiters are stretched so thin among so many tables. It took them 40 minutes to get to our table to take our order. Now, the assistant waiter was wonderful. We had water, we had bread, we had arancini. He, was really trying to make us happy. Eventually, at about 30 minutes after we had been there, the bar waiter came to take our wine order, but they're just so short-staffed, it seems like, or they're taking too many reservations for the number of waiters that they have. It took about 40 minutes. So that's what pushed us over the 2-hour mark. And again, if we had ordered dessert, we would have probably been at about 2.5 hours. But the food was delicious. Everyone was so happy with their pasta. We loved the burrata and prosciutto salad. And then I had the chicken, and it was pretty good. My husband had the sea bass, and he enjoyed that as well. At the end of the night, we spent a little time in the Crown Grill Bar listening to Sandra Marie. This is a violinist and a piano player. And one of my favorite things in the world is when classical musicians play pop music. So here, take a listen. And then it was time to head back to our cabin to pack. So we packed up. We had Ocean now bring us a couple of cocktails, and we sat on the balcony watching sunset and sailing away towards Boston, having all of our bags packed. For disembarkation, you have a choice. You can do self-disembarkation, which is what we're doing, where we'll carry all of our bags off with us, or you can put out a bag the night before. They'll give you luggage tags to put on your bag and assign you a luggage group, and then you'll put those tags on your bag and you'll set them outside your room, usually sometimes before 10 p.m. is what they recommend. And then in the morning, you'll meet your bags shoreside. So this is great if you have large suitcases. You don't have to manage getting them through the ship yourself. We have small suitcases, so we will take them with us. Now, the disembarkation here in Boston is going to be different than any other disembarkation we've done at a U.S. port. We will actually meet the immigration officers on board in the Vista Lounge. So we have to be in the Vista Lounge at 7:15. I imagine this is going to be a situation where there's a lot of long lines. I will absolutely update you after we've gone through it. So bye for now. Okay, I'm back. We are in the car on the way home from the airport now. So basically how disembarkation worked this morning was we were given walk-off express group A, and we're told to meet at 7:15 in the Vista Lounge, which is all the way in the aft or the back of the ship. So about 7:12, we headed to the elevator bank. 2 full elevators passed us by going down. So we did our old trick where we actually go up and then just stay in the elevator and then come back down to deck 7. We came out at the theater, and at that point, the line for the Vista Lounge had stretched the entire length of the ship and was going into the theater. So we just got into line. Now, chaos really started about 25 minutes later when the line had doubled back all the way back to the Vista Lounge. So it was basically a line that went from the Vista Lounge all the way to the front of the ship to the theater and then all the way back to the Vista Lounge. At that point, no new people can enter the line. There just wasn't room, and people started to kind of crowd through. Some people were cutting. So things got a little chaotic. People were getting a little feisty. Luckily, at that point, we were close enough to the roped off portion so that only a couple people cut us. But when we got to the Vista Lounge, everything was super easy. It was super fast. You just showed your passport and they took your picture, and then you headed off the ship. So super easy. All in all, it took us about an hour from the time we got in the line in the theater to we were in a taxi cab. Now, we did not check our bags, remember? So we had all of our luggage with us. Luckily, we only had carry-on bags, so we could keep the carry-ons with us. Those people who had larger bags could not have their larger bags in line. So they either needed to leave their large bags in their stateroom, which is what I would recommend, or put them in the Princess Theater. The problem with that was, though, the Princess Theater was on the way to the Vista Lounge. So you had hundreds of people in line going to and from the Princess Live luggage storage. So if this system comes up again for you, I highly recommend just leaving your big bags in the cabin, going down, doing the immigration, and then heading back up to get your bags. It took us 5 minutes to get to the Boston airport, and our flight was easy and on time. So hopefully you've enjoyed this recap series. Let me know in the comments if you have, and I'll consider doing it again in the future. And look forward to an upcoming full ship tour of the Majestic Princess, and then the 9 most frequently asked questions I get about cruise ships. Okay, thanks. Bye.